Jesus was by Lake Galilee when a very large crowd gathered and surrounded him because they wanted to hear what Jesus had to say. They were eager to hear his words. So Jesus got onto a boat, stayed near to the shore, while the crowd stood on the water's edge and listened. Jesus told them this story. There was once a farmer who scattered his seed. Some of his seed fell on a path, and birds swooped down and ate up all of the loose seeds on the path. Some of the farmer's seed fell onto soil that was rocky. The seed started to grow into grain and corn, but because of the rocky soil, the roots couldn't go down deep enough to sustain the corn, to keep it living. So when the sun came up, it scorched the seed, and the plants withered and died. Other seed fell amongst thorns. The seed began to grow, but before long the thorns and the weeds choked the plants so that they couldn't bear grain, and they couldn't grow into the crops that the farmer wanted. Finally, the remaining seed fell on good soil and produced crops, 30 times, 60 times, 100 times over. This was what the farmer wanted. Jesus said to the crowd, "I want you to hear and I want you to listen." They had been listening to the story from the very beginning. Jesus explained, "This is what my story means. The seed that the farmer is throwing is like God's word. It's like God's truth that is written down in the Bible. Some of us, some people, are like the seed that falls on the path. As soon as they hear what God says, the evil one swoops and takes it away. The words don't stay with them. They go in one ear and they go straight back out the other ear. Other people are like the seed that falls on the rocky soil, rocky places. They hear what God says, and at first they're happy and they're joyful. But there's no roots. The roots are not going down deep enough to keep them going, to keep them living. Just like the plant's roots weren't going down deep enough to keep the plant living. And these people, even though they begin to grow, and even though they listen to begin with joy, as soon as trouble comes and difficulty and hard things in life, as soon as those things happen, these people fall away. Some of us are like the seed that lands in amongst the thorns and the weeds. They hear what God says, but then the worries of life and the things that this life has to offer and the things that they want in this life take over, and that chokes them out. But finally, other people are like the seed that is sown on good soil. They hear God's word, or they read it in the Bible, they listen to it, they take it in, and they hold on to it because they believe that it's true. So which of those seed are we like? Are we like the seed that falls on the path? We hear what God has to say, we hear Bible stories, or perhaps we read the Bible, or we hear people teaching us about the Bible, but the words don't stay with us. Perhaps they go in through one ear and then straight out again through the other ear. We don't hold on to any of the things we hear. We might listen very quickly, but we don't hold on to them. They're taken away. Are we like the seed that falls on the rocky soil? We listen, and at first we are joyful and we're happy with what we're hearing, but as soon as things get difficult, we fall away. As soon as things that hurt us happen, or things that upset us happen, we don't trust anymore. We don't believe in God's truth and God's word. We turn away. Are we like the seed that falls in amongst the thorns, where we begin to grow, but then the things of this life take over and choke us out? Maybe that's things that we want to own, or things that we want to have, or a job that we want to have, or friends that we want to be with. And of course, none of those things are wrong in and of themselves, But if we allow them to take over, then they will choke us out. Or are we like the seed that falls on good soil? Do we hear what God has to say to us, listen to it, take it in, and hold on to it because we believe it's true?